If there's something that you're trying to change in your life, it's most likely not a discipline problem, it's a sensation problem. So this isn't going to be an explainer video, it's going to be more of a demonstration of how to work with that resistance inside of you. Because what you're avoiding is a bodily sensation, and I think more accurately described as that feeling, right, that we all have. And this applies to just about anything. Obviously, bedtime, dishes, chores, work, you name it. So I recorded this session a few days ago where I just got a bunch of questions, worked through it with ChatGPT, prompt is in the description, and I just sit there and see what comes up and what I'm noticing, not trying to change anything. I'm just trying to go into it and feel my way through it to hopefully create more capacity and release whatever is there. So as you listen to this video, don't try to think of it like too cognitively, like go more into it intuitively and just see what you can glean, see what comes up in your body. So let's jump straight into it. What did night give me that daytime never did? Great question. I think historically, daytime has always been busier. There's always been something to do. There's always been more people around and dealing with like hypervigilance. I think maybe I kind of always felt like I had to like be on guard. And there's something that's very comforting to me about night. Maybe that people weren't around. Maybe that people were more sleepy, so less likely to there to be like an issue. Also in the darkness, maybe there's a bit of comfort there, knowing that I wasn't being watched or no one really knew what I was doing. Spent my adolescence on a farm in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, before I was like socialized. And so, I really didn't have to get up early and go to school or anything like that. So I could kind of, stay up as late as I want, wake up when I wanted to. I don't think my grandfather liked it because I always did chores late, but whatever. The thing that I would do is I would turn off all the lights outside and I would just like wander the farm in the middle of the night, pitch dark, and just stare at the stars and, dream and reminisce about, what my life would be like as an adult. And there's definitely like this strong correlation to that. And I never really wanted to like sleep because whatever feeling and emotion and sensations I was creating in my body, like I never wanted it to end. I know that I used to sit outside and I would listen to music. That was back when I had CD players. Not quite cassettes, not that old, people. But yes, CD players. And I would always listen to songs on repeat, especially ones that like gave me like feelings or sensations that I really liked. So yeah, it was kind of this joyous or pleasurable time that I just never wanted to end. And I'm clearly still carrying that, from all those years ago. What am I protecting by staying up late? Wow. I'm protecting my peace. I'm protecting spaciousness, relaxation. I'm protecting a place in which I like deeply connect with myself. And I think I just don't get that even now during the day, because during the day I just feel like I need to do this and I need to do that and some work stuff and I need to cook and clean and do all these, I don't know, chores or daily activities or whatever. And at night it's like, well, I don't have to do any of this. I can just be. And so I think I'm protecting that space that I more deeply connect with myself. Yeah. Next question. What does my body believe will be taken from me if I end the day early? This is one that I feel like I've kind of asked myself a version of this in the past, because even last night I had a hint of it. It's been way worse in the past. To like even just think of going to bed at like 9, 10 o'clock, whatever, it would just be like sad, it'd be a little depressing. And I think there's part of that my body believes that I won't be able to recharge, and that I'll wake up the next day essentially running on empty. And I need that time to sit and reflect and deeply connect with myself. Next question. What does staying awake prove to me? Oh. I think it proves a lot of things. The most obvious one proves that I'm still a slave or trapped or run by my mind and my sensations to whatever degree, and we all are. It just depends to what degree. Maybe some enlightened people aren't, but 99% of the world is. And I think there's a little bit of like, oh, you're like cool because, you stay up late. There definitely is a piece of that from my childhood that's still like lingering there. Like, maybe like you're a bad boy, so you stay up late at night and go out and do this or do that, even though I'm not really doing those things at this point in my life. That's why it's so ridiculous. That's why I'm here. Yeah, there's a little bit of like bad boy, like, oh, I'm breaking the rules. Look at me, even though it makes no sense at all. Next question. What would I need to trust about tomorrow to let go of tonight? That is a great question, ChatGPT. I need to trust that I could stay connected to myself, that I wouldn't be flustered and start spinning or looping or having all these, let's say, big sensations, that I wouldn't disassociate, that tomorrow would be okay. And that as I'm saying this, it's like, well, of course it would. And the big thing with doing this video, like, to be honest, a lot of the stuff that I'm saying isn't really that big of a deal for me today. Has historically, of course. It's really, as you're in a place that you can move past things, it's about sitting down and feeling them. Because some of them are just gonna be like, oh, like, that's completely ridiculous. I can't believe I still believe that, or I'm still running based off this old, programming stuff. And I'll give you a little tip at the end, kind of in case you're not able to move past things, what's actually going on with you. So next question. Who taught me that rest must be earned? Man, I would say my family, both immediate and extended. Yeah, it was kind of, a hard day's work, right? You're going to put in a hard day's work, right? And I think I reinforced that myself because I was so locked into achieving and getting things done that when I put in a really hard day's work and I would lay down at night to like go to sleep, it would just feel so good to me. Like I would just create these feelings within myself that rewarded me for doing the hard work, and that I felt like, yes, I truly need this rest. I also think sports, if you've played any sports or done really anything competitive, I think coaches just pound this into your brain like, oh, work hard, come on, work hard, speed kills, all this stuff. And yeah, the harder you can work, the more praise you're going to get from people around you. Like this guy's, beast mode or savage or all this other stuff that you get recognition from. I noticed in my life when it came to sports, if I really break down where I got the most recognition, the most praise athletically, was because I could disassociate. Because I could keep going longer than my competitor or my teammate. And people were just like, how is he still running? How is he still doing this? This doesn't make any sense. And the truth is, I was ridiculously good at disassociating from my body, which obviously was an issue on the healing side of things. But hey, got recognition when I was younger for, whatever sports thing that I was doing. Next question. What would it look like if the qualities of night existed in my day? Ooh. Man, I'd be a lot more at ease. I'd be way less hypervigilant than I even am today, which is quite a bit down from where I was. There would be just something of moving through life, being unseen, and being unseen, excuse me, makes me feel like I was protected. That there was nothing for me to really worry about. There definitely is something about night, of shadows, of not being able to be seen. Something very like comforting in that. Like knowing that you're kind of like all on your own. You can do whatever, say whatever, goof around, say stupid shit, whatever it is, and like there's no repercussions. Somebody's not gonna throw it in your face. I think that very much stems from having a chronic belief that people equal pain, that people are the source of pain, and that if my days were like my nights, then all of that would go away. Next question. Where in my life am I still living as if peace can be taken away by staying up too late? There's other areas as well, but obviously that's the obvious one. Yeah, and it's just, as I read that, it's kind of ridiculous. Peace is something that once again comes from within. And no one and nothing can take that from me as long as I am deeply connected with myself. Right? There's this old Chinese proverb, I must have read it around like 1920, something like that. And it says, if you love yourself enough, no one and nothing can ever harm you. And those are true, wise words. This video wasn't about bedtime or going to sleep early. It's really about working with that resistance. If you notice that you can't change some of these smaller things, don't beat yourself up. Please do not beat yourself up. It is just an indication of your capacity to handle sensations. And there's more likely than not a much bigger thing going on and probably some deeper trauma in there somewhere. But as your capacity to feel and sit with those sensations grows, this stuff will become easier and easier over time. So I implore you, try it out, experiment, see what it's like, see what comes up. It can be a great gauge just to kind of see where you're at in your own journey. So, hey, if you like this content or have some comments or want to see other stuff, please leave a comment. I thrive off what people feed back to me and able to make more content that you might find valuable in the future. So until next time, keep trusting your gut, keep trusting your intuition. See ya.